Hey everybody, welcome to Bones Collector. Today on Bones Collector, we're continuing our series where Lori and I are playing our way through our board gaming library. We're going to play a couple of games, 2 or 3 games each week, and make a video about it and pass it on to you, and I hope you enjoy them. Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome to Bones Collector. And today, Lori and I just got done playing Cape May, and we played Cape May a while ago at a convention, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But this game was designed by Eric Masso. Now I looked this up, and this is Eric Masso's first game, and that's usually a red flag for me to stay away from a game. So I was glad I played this at a convention. That's why I tell you guys, if you can, get to a convention and play somebody's library of games, because you'll get to play games that you don't have to buy. And we had the opportunity to play this game at a convention, and we had fun doing it. This is by Thunderworks Games, and let me talk about the production of the game a little bit. And here we have a nice box. I mean, it's a nice thick box, and the production of the game is phenomenal. It's got a nice board, very pretty artwork on the board, nice linen cards. All the card decks are all linen. These player boards are paper. Token stock is very nice. You've got these minis that are Victorian buildings and businesses that are very nice and would look nice with a wash on them, which we don't do anyways. The money tokens, the only thing we had to, really the complaint we had about the game was the money is all the same size, and the 10s and the copper ones are kind of close in color. So we had
not, but it still was bad enough that we got confused.
Yeah, so we kept them, tried to keep them turned over so that the Roman numerals are showing. And yeah, the board is very nice, lays flat, very pretty. And we have sleeved this game because we really know that we like this game and we're going to keep it. Let's see, this is a hand management game with some set collection. And what else is going on?
That set collection is birds.
Yeah, set collection of birds. Point-to-point movement. Oh, area majority, of course.
Oh, yes.
So that's what you're trying to do, is build on this board.
Majorities.
And that's on the board. Yeah, this is endgame scoring right here. Some of it.
Yeah,
so
not all of it.
It's not all of it, but that's some of the endgame scoring.
There's your turn order. I mean, they did a pretty good job.
Yeah, and this tells you what's going on during the round steps. And then this lighthouse moves around from season to season. It tells you to draw 2 activity cards and get paid at that particular point in time. And you're going to move every round. You move this thing around this rondelle. So that kind of information on the board is very helpful. This is the bird set collection thing, depending on how many different birds you have in your collection, right? Yeah, so that's pretty nice. And then you got bonus cards that you're going to have 4 of at the beginning of the game. Select 2, and those are going to give you end game goals and now give you some direction out here on where to build. And then you have event card decks. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. And then each player has a hand of cards like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards. Those are your movement cards. And some of them are free, some of them cost money. And you can see this one, the 6 costs $1. The 4 is free, the 5 is free, the 3 is free, the 7 costs $2 to play. The 1 costs $2 to play. So you have to consider that when you're playing those cards. And you have on your player board, you're allowed 3 actions on your turn, and you'll have a marker. That's how you keep track of your actions, and you must do that when you
take screwed up a couple times.
Yeah, when you take an action, make sure you're moving that guy, and then when you take another action, just go slow enough and make sure. And then when you're done with your actions, move that back to 0, because otherwise you'll get kind of screwed up. And then on your player board also, it tells you the actions you can take. It tells you final scoring right on your player board, and it tells you all the costs of building your initial buildings and then upgrading them also to Victorians, to businesses, and to landmarks. And that's how you score points in this game. And again, Lori and I played this at a convention, and we enjoyed it, didn't we? This is Cape May, New Jersey. I should have said that. It's supposedly the oldest seaside resort in the U.S., but it's Cape May, New Jersey. I've never been there until I played this board game. Now I've been to Cape May. I always say I've been everywhere all over the world in my board games. So we've been to Cape May, and Lori and I played this, like I say, at a convention, and we enjoyed it there. And again, I say that, and when you do that, it kind of sat in my mind, and I always had this game in mind, even though we hadn't purchased it or whatever. And then I forget what triggered us to go out and get this game. If we were fulfilling a shipping
Might
thing.
have been fulfilling a shipping goal, but we just started talking about it
Yeah.
and decided, that game was actually kind of fun.
It is. It's a very calming game. This is a
you
medium
don't
weight
hear
game.
much about it.
No, you don't.
It flies under the radar pretty good.
And yeah, this lighthouse is pretty cool, and the buildings are cool. And once you upgrade to a landmark from a Victorian, you put it in this white square, and you get more points for doing so. You have activity cards like these, that whole deck of them that give you special abilities, and that's an action to spend those to let you upgrade, even though your movement piece isn't on the board in that particular space or whatever. So there's,
There's fire.
yeah.
Some of the event cards over here cause something to be on fire, and you put the tokens around the area that's on fire.
And when you upgrade from a shop, which is this, to a business, which is this thing here, you get one of these cards. I forget what this deck is called. Do you remember?
They're upgrade cards.
Upgrade cards. Upgrade cards that give you special scoring abilities sometimes, or points or whatever. So,
Just points.
for people who don't play board games, this would be a pretty heavy game.
Yeah.
But for a hobbyist, now I'm talking to you people who play board games, this is probably a medium weight game,
Medium.
light to medium. It's right up our alley though, don't you think?
Yeah.
This is
45 minutes.
Yeah, 45-minute game. It's much lighter than Sabika.
Yes.
that we had played recently, but I really like this game. There are some board game designers around now that have the ability to make their mechanics and the design of the game fit the theme, and this one does that really well. You feel like you're in Cape May building buildings on the beach and in the dirt and in the grass and in the gravel, and you just feel like that. And another designer right now, Brian Schuer, is the guy that did Freshwater Fly, Cold Water Crown, and Merchants of the Dark Road. He really makes the theme of the game come through strong in the mechanics, and I really like that. And this is one that fits that bill. Yeah, very typical of that example, and we really enjoy it. And then you can collect birds. Did you show them your birds? You can collect birds and get points for that. And that was
I
the
always collect
lighthouse.
the birds if it's going to help me or not, because I like collecting birds.
And there's some special icons on the board: a pier, a lighthouse, and what was the other
There's
one?
birds all over.
Yeah, but there was like
And then there's the one where you
bird space.
start.
Yeah, and then Lori made this little helper thing to let us know what those two icons, the pier and the lighthouse,
yeah.
do. And then it comes with a nice draw bag full of the birds.
Full of
that you-
birds.
And this is a nice production, you guys. If you have
My only complaint is that money.
yeah,
And it's not even that, I don't know, it just,
that's not that big a deal.
we're old and we got confused.
Yeah, it's not that big a deal. Hey, this is a fantastic game.
These
I would-
tokens are thick. I mean, they're really nice, thick tokens. You
This
can't
is a
see
game
them, I
I'm going
guess,
to keep
but-
in our library. I really enjoy it. And this is a money track over here where,
Yep.
depending on the buildings that you build, you're going to move your money marker. That's these things here up this track, and
That's another complaint.
these pieces are
Those
very
little
tiny.
itty-bitty pieces.
And we've lost one when we played this at a convention. We were putting the game away after we had played it, and one of those money tokens was missing. And I mean, it took us half an hour, 45 minutes to find, because we're the type of people that want to take the game back intact. We're not going to lose a piece. We looked for it. We looked on the floor. We were searching in our coats, and
Had gotten trapped in the board.
it got trapped in the board when we folded it up.
Yeah.
And we unfolded the board, and lo and behold, there it was. It took the half an hour to figure that out. Oh, I felt so bad. I didn't want to take the game back
I
incomplete.
don't like those little pieces.
But those little pieces are nasty. Yeah, our cats have field day with that. We'd never find those. So that's a
We'll be replacing
that's
those
a
with
minor
something.
thing.
Yeah.
Super minor. This game's worth owning. It's a lot of fun. I love the way the theme
There
comes
just
through.
isn't a lot of people talking about
No.
it, but I don't
It
understand
didn't
why,
get-
because
it-
it's a great game.
It did not get any kind of big splash of any kind. Eric Masso. Hey, Eric, thank you. It's a fun game. Lori and I really enjoy this, and it's a nice addition to our library for sure. It's something that we would like to get out and play. And if you watch our video, I don't know where it's going to be, but Sabika, that game is just, it's like twice this complex, I'm sure. But this is the type of game that we like the best, isn't it? This level of complexity.
This was
where-
like after we
Yeah.
played Sabika.
and you're playing these movement cards and trying to strategize and be efficient with your movement in relationship to the goal cards that you're trying to satisfy, and then also the end game scoring that's on the board and the birds, and just being as efficient as possible in the things that you're doing in this game. Gosh, I really like Cape May. Hey, look at the first player markers. Some binoculars that you're going to look for birds and be bird watching. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know. It's just a fun game. But take a second, if you would, on your TV, your computer, your phone, and give us a thumbs up. Leave us a comment. If you've played Cape May, what do you think of it? We like it. We like this game.
Or if you've been to Cape May.
If you've been to Cape May. And we have now. I mean, the board itself just makes you feel like you're at the Cape. I mean, I don't know. First time I played it, I was like, you know what? I really like this game. The minis are very cool. If someone wanted to, they could wash these and make them look even better, which we don't, I don't know. Maybe we will if we get, I don't know. We have a lot of board games. But
I'd rather play them than mess with them.
yeah, make sure you like and subscribe. And I want to tell you, this is a game you would really, really like if you like games like those two fishing games, Freshwater Fly and Coldwater Crown. Just that type of immersive theme and medium complexity. So very nice little Euro game. I really enjoyed it. And I will see you next time on Bones Collector. And keep on board gaming. It's the best hobby on the planet because of wonderful games like Eric Masso's Cape May. Bye-bye. Hey everybody, welcome to Bones Collector, the old senior citizen guy that's on YouTube. And today we just finished playing The White Castle. The White Castle is a 2023 title, and it is by Isra C. and Shay S. are the designers, who I've come to fall in love with. Yeah, can you grab that for me? And it's a 1 to 4 player game, worker placement with dice, and a lot of end game scoring. So that's what I want to say about the type of game that this is. But I always talk about the production of the game, and it's perfect. I mean, this is a wonderfully produced game. It's a small box. I mean, once you get everything in this box, you can hardly get the lid on.
You have to put it in there.
It's a nice
Carefully.
box. By DeVere Games, by the way. I give tip my hat to DeVere Games. And it is the same size box as their previous title from 22, I think, the Red Cathedral. It's a little thicker though, just to give you an idea. So it's a little bit thicker than the Red Cathedral. But both games, like this Red Cathedral box, it is packed. And this box is packed. So I love that kind of, publishing, especially when you know your game is good. And these are both excellent. That's a spoiler alert. They're both outstanding, the White Castle and the Red Cathedral. I'm going to be very brief in this explanation of this game, but I want to tell you everything in this game is fantastic, from these little bridges, and you'll build these cardboard bridges, so you punch them out and build them, and your dice will sit on them, and you'll draft dice off those bridges and place them on different action spaces on the board that you randomly lay out with these little tiles. And then you have these wonderfully cute, what are they, seagulls or
I think they're herons.
herons or something? I mean, player pieces that are
They just
absolutely
sit there
fabulous.
and tell you who goes first. They're just turn order markers.
Yeah, 3 different kinds of meeples, warriors and farmers and what's that guy?
Courtesans.
Courtesan. And you have a player board that you're going to have take them from that are going to open up some resources for you and so forth. But here's the thing, you only get 9 turns in this game. You're going to draft off those bridges 9 times, 3 each round. So a lot of people won't like this game, and I said this when I did my video on Zapotec. It's exactly like that. If you like Zapotec, you're going to love the White Castle. And if you love the White Castle, you should pick up Zapotec. They're both fantastic. Now, which one I would like better, I don't know.
We haven't played this one enough to make that
Yeah,
judge, I
this
guess.
is our 3rd playthrough of
Third
this.
play, yeah.
So, and it goes quick. I mean, it's like
Yeah.
30 to 45 minutes because you've only taken 9 turns, but you will stop and think, which I have. I sat here for like 2 or 3 minutes trying to think of what I want to do, because you really can't get into it too much. You can kind of get an idea about what you're going to do, but if someone takes the die you want, you have to start all over again in your head. And your
Or the
daisy,
space that you wanted.
yeah, and you're daisy chaining all this stuff together, which is how you do well in this game. Now, I think we've scored in the 40s almost every time, the winner. Like you won, you scored in the 40s. Did you get 50 that one time?
No.
And here's the thing about this game. It depends on how the game is set up as to how easy it is to score those points and make things happen. So I think those scores are going to vary depending on how the game is laid out, and it's laid out randomly every time you play it. All these little tiles that you're going to lay out
And the cards.
You know, cards and yeah, the cards are all going to be different. Like this particular game, we had no available way to do the farming action except to go to that place on the board. And in other games, you'll have a card that'll give you a farming action. And we did have one, but I took it off the board, which was probably a good idea.
Yeah,
You know, looking
'cause
back
you were
on
the
it,
only one that could
because
farm.
I was the only one that could farm then, and I did pretty well by placing farmers. And once you place your farmers over here at the end of the round, if there's a die still left on those bridges, you get to take that action if you wish or if you can afford it. So that's kind of nice. But there's different things like that in this game, just like in Zapotec. And in Zapotec, I felt like you could string more together, but it's been like months since I played Zapotec, so I don't know if that's true or not. But I love this game, again, because I love Zapotec. And the pressure is on you because of the minimum amount of turns that you get in your game.
You have to make the
In
most out of
Zapotec,
every
you only
turn.
get 5 turns, and that seems terrible. And then this game, you get 9, but it doesn't feel like you're getting more turns than you did in Zapotec.
Can't get anything done.
Yeah, at the end of the game, you feel like, oh my gosh, I mean, your head just hurts. But I love this type of design. This is a wonderful game by DeVere Games, and these two designers, and I love the Red Cathedral. I mean, it has a rondel using dice, and it's creative because depending on where you place those dice, if there's other colored dice there, you get to do twice that action or whatever, and you have to move around that rondel the number of spaces it's on the pip, so it can be a brain burner, a little bit of decision making on that rondel. So I'm really gaining some respect for these, whoever these people are. I don't know if they're men or women, but I absolutely love both the titles they put out for a number of reasons. The games are absolutely fabulous, and they come in these little boxes.
And the production's amazing.
And the
in both of them.
publishing, yeah. When you put these games out on the table, everybody goes, "Wow, that looks really cool." Because even in Red Cathedral, the pieces in the game itself are absolutely fantastic. The pieces in this game, physical pieces, are absolutely fantastic. Gosh, it doesn't have some huge board either game, but there's a lot of thinking that goes on in both of these games. Which one do you like best, Mrs. Bones Collector? Of Red Cathedral and White Castle?
I think probably this one, but I think I need to play it more because I've not done very well playing this one, but I like the idea of the chaining that goes on in this one.
Well, we've played it 3 times and you've won twice. I've won once.
Well,
And then,
but this time just went badly because I couldn't farm. You were the only one that could farm. It was impossible to get any points over there. So, Red Cathedral's really good. I don't know.
I know. This is a harder game to play.
It is harder. It is harder.
It's harder.
Yes.
And I think if I put my back to the wall, I think Red Cathedral I have more fun playing.
If I had to pick one and one had to leave,
Yeah.
I would have to keep Red Cathedral.
Yeah.
It's easier to play.
Easier to play, yeah. And this game will hurt your head quite a bit, trying to find
Yes.
the perfect path.
It's not hard to play.
Yeah.
It's just hard to... You feel like if you don't do a combo, you didn't do enough on your turn.
Yeah.
You wasted your turn if you just did one thing.
Yeah, you get 9 turns, so if you take a dice and you put it on one of these spaces and get some resources, you're like, oh my god, I just lost.
I just lost that turn.
Yeah, might as well just throw that turn away.
Yep.
And the same in Zapotec. You have to think ahead and try to
They're
eke
both
out
rough.
everything you can possibly do. So you're going over all of the options in your mind because you don't want to leave any stone unturned, so to speak. So both of those games make you do that. They make you think about every option in the game. And those games are difficult to play. And I said Zapotec wouldn't be for everybody. And I'm going to say the same thing about White Castle. If you don't like to, to wring your brain out like a sponge, you're probably not going to like either one of these games. I don't know. It's just so much fun. Yeah, I don't know if I had to pick between Zapotec and White Castle. I don't know. They're both amazing and they're both extremely cerebral.
I would pick White Castle because the box is smaller.
Yeah, that might be true. And Zapotec was a wonderful publishing job also.
It was, yes.
And the designer is absolutely
But
phenomenal.
Zapotec, you get all those pyramids and you can't build them because you don't have enough time.
Yeah, you haven't
If you
done-
build one, you're doing good.
So, I mean, but both games have that element where you have a limited number of turns and the pressure is on from turn 1. So, and I kind of like that. It reminds me kind of Carpe Diem by Stefan Feld, where you have to accomplish a goal at the end of the first round or you lose points. So you're thinking, oh my gosh, I mean, I'm going to lose points if I don't get 2 goals, end round goals accomplished by the end of the first round. I lose points automatically. So the pressure's on from the get-go. And that's what games that are designed like this do to you. And they're fun to play though. Wow. It's hard to describe the feeling of playing a game like this.
It's frustrating.
I just,
Can be.
yeah, it is a frustrating experience. I think, again, it won't be for some people just because of that. But again, you know, if I have to tell you something or make a point by showing this video, it's that the White Castle and Zapotec give you that same feeling. Anyway, the theme of the game is 16th to 17th century Japan, the Edo period, and then we have another game, Iki, that takes place in that same time frame. But that's the theme of the game, which doesn't really have any relevance.
No, it has no relevance at all.
I mean, it does, with the artwork and everything,
Yeah.
it has relevance.
Because there's a castle, and bridges.
Those bridges are so nice. And it's just a phenomenally difficult and frustrating game experience. But it's fun. If you like that, if you can put up with that kind of, oh, that tension. It's tension from your first turn. I guess that's the best word to describe this and Zapotec. The tension is palpable because of the limited amount of opportunities you're going to have. So you want to string together as much as possible on your turn and not leave anything to chance. And that can be very difficult and very demanding, I guess. But that's White Castle. It's a phenomenal game. Is it staying on our library? Heck yeah. I mean, it's a great game design, just like Red Cathedral. I would suggest these to anyone. This game would be more towards a regular style Euro game, but you still have to work that rondel, and they made it very difficult to use. So I like that about Red Cathedral, and you're playing those cards and building those towers. But White Castle is a different style of game, and I love them both. So yeah, I can recommend highly both of these games, and they're inexpensive. I mean, Red Cathedral, I think was going for $26. What a deal, because it's a game that keeps on giving. I mean, it's different all the time, and just a great
It's a big
design.
game in a little box.
Yeah, and I have this in my top 10 for the year it came out, 22 or 21 or whatever. And this will be in the top 10 of 23. There's no doubt about it, because it's just a wonderful design, you
Red
guys.
Cathedral is $28, and it is in stock at Game Nerds.
Yeah, $28. I mean, that's, geez, you have to have that.
And White Castle,
I think this is under 40, isn't it?
and we just bought that one. White Castle is $32.
$32.
And it is still in stock.
Wow. That is pretty doggone awesome. So for like 60 bucks, well, $60 with tax,
Yeah.
you get both these boxes. These are fantastic Euro-style games. I mean, they're just absolutely fantastic. I can't say enough about it.
And they don't take
Hey,
up a lot of space.
the round marker is this big
I think it's a fish.
fish, I think. And you only move it twice. Starts out on 1, and there's only 3 rounds, so you move it twice. I mean,
Well, the round marker's beautiful, and the herons are beautiful, and you don't use either one of them.
you don't use either one. Yeah, the herons change places. That's about it.
Yeah,
because
for
you're on this
whoever's in first and second place.
on this bird track. But wow, it's just yeah, I can't say enough about it, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please take a second, give us a thumbs up on your phone or on your TV. You wouldn't believe how much that helps us. Again, I want to emphasize, here at Bones Collector Studios, we purchase all of our games with our own dollars. That's why I'm very careful about what I bring into their house. I'm not perfect. I bring some games in that just don't make the cut, and so I don't do a video about them. If you see a video on Bones Collector about a game, you can rest assured I'm going to tell you that it's okay to buy it. Man, I can't say enough about how much pleasure these 2 games will give you, and I hope you get the opportunity to play them. Please subscribe if you can, and we appreciate you very much watching and our videos. We love every one of you, and by all means, keep on board gaming, because it's the best doggone hobby on the planet because of White Castle and Red Cathedral. See you later. Bye-bye. Okay, everybody, that was a couple of games out of our library that we wanted to share with you. And thank you for those comments, and please keep them coming. We'll try to get back to you as often as we possibly can. I love every one of you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll try to get them out as soon as possible. Bye-bye.